Yeah. All right. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another market commentary and trade breakdown of some of the trades I took during the week, right? So I might be focusing more on the trades I had on USDJPY. Right, so I had to, outside from USDJPY, I still have wins with NAS. I had about 10 RR in NAS. I still have about 7 RR in GBP then about 6 RR in gold. I also have a couple of losses. By now, you should know that losses are part of the game, but in the end, you always come out profitably if you apply risk management. So for me, it was a profitable week. Outside the losses I had on gold, Euro USD, and the USDJPY. That was today being NFP, right? So I traded NFP. So I had a couple of losses, but looking at the losses compared to the wins, it's still an overall profitable week for me, right? So we walk us through my thought process or the logic behind my trades on UJ. Then, if we have time, I'll also look at NAS, right? But these trades I had on UJ, not only that, did they help me to because I was trading it on about three different accounts. It helped me to both pass my prop, help me to come out of the drawdown, pass my prop, and even pass my prop. Yeah, got from there. I think I just requested payout from, okay, this one is still on that. I'm still waiting for verification for this. Then for this of my account, I just requested payout. So waiting for, just requested payout. So it's still pending, waiting for them to, I still have to wait for like 2 business days or whatever before the payout enters. But that is just using the trades on NAS and USDJPY, and just basically the trades I took this week. I was able to come out of drawdown in some of my prop and pass a lot of them, right? So yeah. So now let's start with USDJPY. First thing first, for USDJPY. Now, if you are just coming here if you are just watching the market commentary for the first time, right? You might need to go back to the previous market commentary I did, especially the one I did on on trade breakdown SAUSD, right? Because there, I before the before the commentary, I started by explaining some things like the market structure and some of the things behind my trade ideas, the rejection and breakout rule and the rest, right? So I'll drop the link in the description of this video, right? So first thing first, on Thursday, right? On Thursday, I like to start my storyline or building my bias from the daily, right? So on Thursday, that was on the 24th, I saw something on the daily that is daily rejects daily, right? And you know that once daily reject daily, what you do next is to go down to H4. So in H4, I want to see a break of structure to the upside. So a break of structure to the upside is going to confirm and tell me that, okay, the rejection on the daily simply gives me a clue of who is in control of the market, right? Now, the break of structure on one time frame lower is more like a confirmation of that rejection, right? So coming to H4, if you see this to line chart, this is where the break of structure, right? This is the breakout to the upside, right? But this second breakout, it kind of confirms the other flow. This is the first breakout, right? Now this is the second breakout. Now this second breakout kind of confirms the other flow, right? For for someone who is an aggressive trader, right, you can actually enter here after this first break. So this would have been my first entry here, but I didn't pick that entry, right? I didn't pick this entry. I wasn't on the chart. I guess this is the entry I went with, right? This is the entry. Now, what made me to pick my first entry here? And this first entry, I picked it on Friday. That was on the 25th of July. Right? What made me to pick my first entry here? Now, the moment I saw that this is for, I've explained key level. This is an A-shaped key level, right? The moment I saw that price has break this key level, right? Or what we call resistance, right? The moment price ready resistance, it now turns to support. But now I won't just trade this support or blindly, right? I won't just trade this key level blindly. For me to use this key level as my entry, I want to see something, I want to see liquidity. So if there is no liquidity before this key level, right? If there is no liquidity before this key level, I might not actually give it that attention, right? So now I went down to H1 on the 1 hour. Then on the 1 hour, I saw something. At the end of the Asian session, I saw that okay, price has given me an Asian low, right? This Asian low, I'm using this indicator for my Asian high and Asian low, right? Remember from the previous lesson I did on liquidity, I've explained the various forms of liquidity, of which I explained that the Asian highs and the Asian lows are liquidity. So the moment I saw this Asian low, right, I just know that this key level, right, which is this resistance or the A-shaped key level that has broken now, or the A-shaped key level that has been disrespected, right, that is now going to turn to support. That is the RBS. So resistance broken turn to support. And I know that okay, this is a valid key level to play from. Now I pick an entry here. That was on Friday. Now I was on the trade, right? I wanted to normally I do 1:5. I do 1:5. But now something happened. I saw something on Friday when market is about to close, right? When market was about to close, I went down to the weekly, right? So on the let me remove this thing. So on the weekly, I saw something that made me to still maintain my position and hold the trade. Right now, if you are conversant with price ranges, right now this is a low. Price swept this low, right? So the moment price swept this low, the ideal target will be this high. So I was now using this weekly range high as my target. So because price has swept this weekly range low, right? And not only that, price swept it as of when I saw it, right? Price swept it and closed above it, was trying to close above it then, right? So when I now saw that, okay, I was like, okay, if price has swept this and it's about to close, this is actually a risky decision, right? It's about to close. My target should be the weekly high. But now, when on Monday now confirm this more, right? On Monday, confirm this, no, because by Monday now, the weekly has closed, right? And I got more confirmation on Monday. So that was what made me to hold the whole trade, right? So that was why my overall target was this level, right? Now for the first entry, which I picked here on Friday, I hold it that was on, I think that was on Wednesday. I hold it till Wednesday. So the first entry gave me like 10.775 RR. That is targeting this weekly range higher as the overall target. Now, since I now have an overall target and I already know where price is going, it just makes sense to only be looking for buys, right? So the moment I saw that price is retracing, the moment I saw price trying to retrace, I just know what I was looking at for are buy entries. I was not looking out for buy entries. So when I saw that price has hit this level, right? Because this an A-shaped key level, right? Or what we call the resistance zone. So when I saw that, okay, price is reacting from this. Remember, I already have an overall target. I already have an overall this, and I know that where price is going because of understanding of the range high and the range low, right? Also, if you're on the H4, you can also, if you look clearly on, if you look very well on the H4, you also know that this is an external range liquidity that needs to be taken out, right? So that's what made me to actually hold the trade. Now, when I saw that price was dropping, all right, what did I do? I just look at for the nearest key level that I want to play from. But now, for me to play that key level, I also want to make sure that that key level has liquidity before it, right? I don't just pick key level. So if the key level doesn't have liquidity before it, I find it hard to use it, right? So that is what made me to, when I came down to H1, I saw this key level, right? This key level, if you take this to line chart, you're going to see that this is an A-shaped key level. And this key level, it has liquidity before it. So the presence of liquidity makes it more viable or makes it more valid for me, right? In my own trading style. So I picked the second entry from here. Now this second entry gave me 6.3, about let's say 6.5 hour, right? Now I had the fourth entry, right? I had a fourth entry, and this fourth entry was on Wednesday. Sorry, supposed to be on Wednesday. Yeah, this fourth entry was on Wednesday. I think I was in church service when I saw price trying to drop. That was when I placed this fourth entry, but unfortunately, price didn't target, right? Price didn't target, right, for this fourth entry. I missed this fourth entry just by a few pips, and this fourth entry would have delivered 4 RR. Right now, this is not the last entry I took for the week. Now, this last entry delivered 5.558. So that is, it delivered more than that, but I just took profit at 5.5. Now, what is the idea or the rationale behind this particular fourth entry? Now, I see the same thing, right? I already know that price is bullish. Remember, I've already built my bias from the move on Thursday. See the same thing. If even if you want, you can still come back and build your bias daily, reject daily. It will still give you that same H4 breakouts, right? It will still give you that same H4 breakout. You see that this is the recent breakouts, right? This is the recent breakouts. This is the recent breakouts here, right? After this recent breakouts, you now look for recent breakout to the upside. That is recent H4 breakout. It's just to look for key level for entry. So I already know that from the storyline and everything, I already know that okay, price is bullish. Just to be looking for continuation. I just kept on looking for continuation until the price reached this level. Now this level is on the, I think is on the weekly, right? That level is on the weekly. So that level is an A-shaped key level on the weekly. So the moment price reaches this A-shaped key level on the weekly, that was the last place I took profits. That was where I took the last trade I took. I just targeted this side. The moment price reached here, I left right before the whole of this drop that happened today during the NFP. Right. So that is basically it. Now for this trade and this particular last trade, the idea is still simple. The idea is still simple. Now, as of when I dropped this is what price was like, right? I just wake up because I just wake up, I woke up that was around 5, right? When I saw this, I know that something has happened because I didn't want to trade the Asian section, right? So I just waited for the for price to give me the Shanghai and low. Then I saw that there was a sweep of liquidity, right? Now this thing is sweep of liquidity. Remember, this is on H1. That is why you might be seeing it like this. But maybe if you go down to M15 or whatever, you might see it more clearly. Right. So when I saw that, okay, price has given me this sweep of liquidity, I just targeting the I just targeted the V-shaped key level as my entry because I already know that price has given me liquidity. I just targeted this V-shaped key level as my entry. As of then, price this candle was still forming, but if you go down to M5, right, you will be able to see an earlier liquidity, right? You'll be able to see an earlier liquidity for and an earlier liquidity that will give you a clue. But I already know that like I've had a lot of entries like this and they play that way. So I already have that confidence that that key level is going to hold, right? And again, knowing the direction of price and where price is going was also another factor, right? So this like the liquidity or the inducement liquidity because this side failed to take out this side, so that means there was an inducement and price came down. The moment price hit the end, price moved, right? So that was what formed my bias for the last trade entry. Just understanding where price is coming from and where price is going. So I was just looking for continuation until the price hits the last point of attack for me. The moment price hit the last point of attack for me, I was done. Right. So this is the right? So on the weekly, once the weekly range low is taken out, my overall target was not the weekly range high. Now I don't just start playing to the weekly range high. I still pay attention to what my storyline is saying, right? Price T on my storyline, price T gives me bullish moves. I keep seeing bullish move and recent H4 breakouts on the upside, right? So with those recent, this is a breakout. You see, price keep giving me that recent H4 breakout to the upside. So with that, I was more confident to hold the buys, right? Now, whenever I see retracement, I just know that that retracement is an opportunity for me to look for buys in the direction or in line with where price was going, right? Then this is the move that happened today on NFP, right? Then I wanted to also pick a buy from here. I wanted to pick a buy from here today, being NFP. But now, if you watch, like I've told us earlier, I always like to trade the any key level I want to trade. I always want to make sure that it has liquidity, right? So you can't always get it right. You should be able to give yourself that opportunity or room to be wrong. All right, the market is always right. You see that I play this key level. This is where I had a buy entry here. I had a buy entry here. But now looking at this trade, it was is most of the time is when you take loss that you are going to have a factory reset, your brain will reset. You now look clear and see that okay, this trade I thought that it was a good setup wasn't a good setup, right? When I had a loss, I went back to while I was doing my UOD, I discovered that there wasn't any there wasn't any clear liquidity. I mean, there's no liquidity close to this key level. Like unlike these other entries I have had, there are always liquidity. There are always liquidity close to the key level, right? There are always liquidity close to the key level. But look at this guy now. There was nothing like liquidity close to the key level, right? So with that, had it been I paid strict attention to not take this trade because there was no liquidity close to it. But I just wanted to take it because I feel like okay, the other flow is still we are still bullish, looking at what price is still doing, right? But market is always right. Market did it, so I lost 1 hour out here, but overall it was a profitable this thing for me on USDJPY. So on USDJPY, I think I had this is 10.7, this is 6.3, so that is more like 17 hour plus this is 5.5, so that is more like 22.5. I'll be 23 hour, right? And three entries, right? Then we now lost 1 hour, so 23 minus 1, that is 22.5. Still a profitable week for me on JPY alone. Also, I had amazing trade also on NAS. I had amazing trade on NAS. NAS give me about 10 RR, right? NAS give me about 10 RR. Then I had amazing trade on GPB USD, gave me 7 RR, right, before NFP came and did its thing, right? So that is basically it. So if there's any other thing you might want me to explain based on some of the things I mentioned in the video, you can always reach out to me or drop in the comment section. Then I'll make time and explain it. So because of time, I won't be reviewing any other trade, right? It should just be USDJPY for now because I don't want to make this video to be long because I have other things to do, right? So, but it's an overall, it was a profitable week, right? I had a couple of losses. You should know, like I said earlier, losses are part of the game, but what matters is that at the end of the week, or at the end of the day, or at the end of the month, right? If you are profitable, you are seeing good. Just know that you can't eliminate loss from the game, right? It's big time part of the game. These are probabilities, right? You should know that statically probability are in the range of 0 to 1. So it's just more like you tossing a coin. So, but then what matters most is your understanding of risk management and your understanding of risk to reward ratio, right? If you have issue with risk management and risk to reward ratio, you might also watch my series on risk management and the rest, right? So personally, if you've noticed, most of my trade, right, is always 1:5, right? Like 1:5 is like any entry that can't give me at least 1:5, I'm not confident taking that entry, right? So that means even if I have like even if I have like four losses in a row, I just need one trade, right? So one good trade will bring me back to profit, right? So it depends on what work for you. There are people that use one is or three. That doesn't mean I don't use one is or three, right? I see. I like when I say that my overall decision is 1:5. That doesn't mean I don't take 1:3, right? Depending on what market gives me. If market give me 1:3, fine. But if I see 1:5 and see 1:3, I'll prefer to take 1:5 because I have this kind of thing. I have like a particular risk for the day. I have a particular risk for the day. And once I reaches that my risk limit, no matter what, I won't take trades again. Right. So if I see an entry that's giving me 1:3 and another one that's giving me 1:5, I will take the one that gives me 1:5 first before thinking of considering the one that's giving me 1:3. So that will be it for today. So the trade idea was simple. It's just an understanding of your storyline. Everything started from the daily. Once price the rejection from the daily gave me an idea of who is in control of price, right? It gave me a clue of who is in control of price. Now for me to now fully confirm this, I need to go down to one time frame lower. In that one time frame lower, I want to see what? I want to see a breakout. So when I now see that breakout, that give me a confirmation of okay, right? this thing I want to do is valid. Then what do I now need to do? And I look at what are the possible places for me to enter. Now, once I've entered, now I will now be looking at what are the possible places that I'll meet obstacle for exits, right? Because I trade key level to key level, right? I trade key level to key level. So if my storyline is starting from the daily, right? I'll be targeting a daily level for my exits, right? If my storyline is starting from the 4 hours, right? I'll be targeting the 4 hours level for my exits and thereabouts. All right, thank you so much. See you in the next trade breakdown. All right, so also make sure to like, subscribe, and share these videos. So it's going to help us to keep doing more of this. See you next weekend for the next commentary or trade breakdown. Cheers.